Today on the Bandrew Says podcast, we're going to be talking about YouTube having a different set of standards for the small creator and the large creator. What a shocker! And a whole lot more, so go ahead and stick around. Greetings, Earthlings. Welcome back to episode 179 of the BSP. My name is Bandrew. This is what I says. Like always, there are timestamps in the show notes. If you want a different version of the show, audio or video, bandrewsays.com. And if you want other educational and awesome podcasts, geeksrising.com. One quick announcement up top. On Thursday, August 15th at 10 p.m. EDT, I am going to be on the Sunshine Summit with a couple other members of the Geeks Rising podcast network. You need to check that out. It is going to be awesome. Bring your questions and all of that. You can find out more at sunshinesummit.live. Let's jump right into the news. And the first thing is YouTube has double standards for large creators. What a huge, tremendous shocker. Oh my God. Every single YouTube creator has been saying this for years. This is no surprise here. What we're going to do is we are going to work through the article that exposed this, and then I'll tell you how this can affect you or how this will affect you if you upload videos to YouTube. The Washington Post released an article on August 9th, which I will link in the show notes, where they spoke with a bunch of YouTube moderators who said YouTube made exceptions for popular creators, including Logan Paul, Steven Crowder, and PewDiePie, but YouTube denies this, saying that it enforces its rules equally and tries to draw the line in the right places. The moderators then stated that they have a quota to review 120 videos per day, and YouTube denies having quotas at all, so it really is a he said, she said type scenario. We don't know who is telling the truth. But regardless, the moderators say that because they have quotas, they end up skipping longer videos, and therefore, inappropriate and offensive material often stays up longer than it should. Here's the first place that I want to interject. Offensive material? You sure you want to use that terminology? Because that is a very vague term, and if you are banning stuff that is offensive, you sure as hell better be banning everything on the platform, because almost every single video is offensive to at least one person. So I think that is an issue if you are trying to ban offensive material. Now, to be completely fair, it is unclear if they are saying that they want to ban content that they find offensive, or if they want to ban content that violates YouTube's terms of service. But based on the language that they used, it certainly seems like they don't want content that they find offensive to be allowed online. And I find that idea to be rather offensive. So if there are any videos on YouTube saying, you know what, I think we need to remove offensive content, I find that offensive. So YouTube moderators, you better step up your game and start banning these videos as soon as possible, because it is absurd that this type of offensive material is allowed to remain and propagate on your platform. How dare you? I am offended. I am officially losing my mind. But moving on, a former moderator later said, "Our responsibility was never to the creators or to the users. It was to the advertisers." No, duh! Are you kidding me? How dumb do you have to be shocked that you are supporting the advertisers? That is ridiculous. If you were not aware of that, maybe you shouldn't be in control of anything. How stupid do you have to be to not realize that the advertisers are the ones that you are serving when you are moderating content on YouTube? No, duh. Next, I'm going to take a quick detour from the creator news analysis, and I want to point out how I am interpreting this article. They start talking about Steven Crowder, and in one paragraph, they say that Steven Crowder repeatedly verbally abused a gay journalist. A few paragraphs later, they then say, after the journalist who was attacked posted his communications with YouTube, ... etc., etc. Do you see the manipulation of words here? Carlos Maza was not attacked. Mocked? Yes. Harassed? Sure. But attacked? Absolutely not. He was not attacked. Do you want to know a journalist who was attacked? Andy, no. He had milkshakes thrown at him, and he was punched and kicked and hospitalized while he was filming a far-left demonstration. That is what being attacked is. Being mocked and ridiculed by some online creator is not being attacked. That is very strong language to use and kind of misleading, I would say. But going back to Andy Ngo, a journalist who was actually attacked, do you know there is another journalist who advocated for violence against conservative people or people who just aren't as far left as them? That's right, the person they are saying was attacked. That would be Carlos Maza. His tweet is still live right now where he says you should go out and milkshake people to publicly humiliate them. And when you milkshake people, that escalates. We saw that with Andy Ngo. So this journalist who is being claimed to have been attacked was advocating for other people to be attacked. Being mocked is not being attacked. Being ridiculed is not being attacked. It is just somebody being somewhat of a dick towards you. Punching people, throwing stuff at people, hitting people with stuff. That is being attacked. But what happened to Carlos Maza was not an attack. It was being mocked and ridiculed. Sorry, that diatribe is over now. Let's get back to the article. The last line in the article is, the picture we get from YouTube is that the company has to make money. So what we think should be crossing a line to YouTube isn't crossing one. That's correct, and I actually agree with that statement. Good job, Washington Post. It's important to remember as a creator or as a viewer, you are not YouTube's customer. YouTube's customer, as Washington Post so eloquently pointed out a little bit earlier, is the advertiser. The advertiser is YouTube's customer. And how does that very famous saying go? The customer is always right. I think that's how it goes. Do you know what that means? YouTube is going to run ads on videos until an advertiser explicitly comes to them and says, "Oh my God, I can't believe that you ran an ad on that video. That reflects so poorly on us. How dare you take the ads off of that video and never run ads on that type of video again." Until an advertiser does that, YouTube will run ads on videos because it cost YouTube money to host that video with server space, and it also cost money for YouTube to distribute that video with bandwidth. So YouTube is not in the business of losing money by just hosting a bunch of stuff for free. They need to make money to ensure the platform and their service continues to exist. So unless these people want YouTube to become a paid service for the creator where you pay for bandwidth and hosting costs, or maybe for the viewer that you get access to this amazing library, then this is the way that things are going to continue to work on YouTube. Because guess what would happen if YouTube became a paid service? You would lose a lot of voices of people who don't have disposable income, meaning lower class people, which are typically the groups that are more marginalized. So unless you want the upper class, the extremely wealthy, the 1%, the bourgeoisie, to have complete control over the narrative and be the main voices available on the internet, I think these folks are on the wrong side of the fight. Sorry for the rant, that's it. How is this going to affect you as a content creator if you upload to YouTube? You honestly can't do too much directly, because if you do or say something that creates a certain amount of outrage to the point where people start contacting advertisers about you, your advertising is gone. There's nothing you can do about that, because YouTube's main goal is to ensure that advertisers are happy, because if advertisers are happy, advertisers will spend more money on YouTube, which is what YouTube wants. So what can you actually do? You can become a boring milquetoast, completely middle-of-the-road, unoffensive creator like me, where you're not going to piss off advertisers, and also you won't really piss off your audience too much to the point where they want to completely deplatform you. You can also just decide to upload videos as a hobby where you don't really care about the money, you don't care about making it a career, you are just doing it because you love making videos and putting them out there. And lastly, you can crowdfund your project, and if you create sufficient value for your audience, they may want to send you some money to ensure that you continue making content. You can see this in the conservative circles where they continuously get deplatformed or they get advertising pulled from their videos, and their audiences really love what they're doing, so their audiences send them money. you can do that. You can crowdfund your video project. That's all I got for you. I will link the Washington Post article in the description and show notes if you want to read a little bit more. Next, we got a very quick update regarding the Equifax settlement. Another one. This is gonna be fun. The FTC, which if you don't know is the Federal Trade Commission, is actually advocating people to take the free credit monitoring service from Equifax. In the FTC's FAQ, they say that millions of people have opted to get the $125, and they are now going to get a very small amount because so many people have claimed it. And then they say, the free credit monitoring provides a much better value, and everyone whose information was exposed can take advantage of it. You can still choose the cash option on the claim form, but you will be disappointed with the amount you receive, and you won't get the free credit monitoring. That's right. The FTC, a governmental agency, is advocating that you take the free credit monitoring services from Equifax instead of getting a monetary settlement. Do you realize what this is like? Let's say you bank at Bank X, and Bank X then gives a criminal access to your bank account. Then the government comes out and says, instead of severing your relationship with Bank X, you should open up another new account with Bank X because they have a decent interest rate. And if you keep your money in your mattress, you're not going to be earning any interest. So although they show that they're completely incompetent, you should give them more access to your money. Don't just keep your money there. Open up another account and move all of your investments in there. That's exactly what it is like. A governmental agency is advocating for you to sign up for a service with a company that just showed the entire world that they have no ability to properly store your sensitive information. The FTC has officially lost their damn minds. Again, I will tell you, do not sign up for free credit monitoring. Do not claim your 21 cents, was it? Which is what it would ultimately be if everybody claimed it. You'll get $10, you'll get $15. Who gives a crap? Don't sign up for it. Freeze your credit. Do not do this. Do not give them more access to your information. That's it for the news. We are not going to be doing a what you had to say or anything. Let's jump to my favorite part of the show, the Ask Bandrew segment. All right. If you guys got any questions, go ahead and send them to askbandrew@gmail.com. I just spilled water all over my desk. You can send in a text question. You can send in a video question. You can send in an audio question. And if you just want to send in an audio question very easily, I have the SpeakPipe app installed on bandrewsays.com, or you can find it at bandrewscott.com. First email comes from Bob, and he says, "Hi, I've been watching your videos on YouTube. I have a couple of questions. I'd be so pleased if you can help. 1, I want to do a video podcast with 2 hosts. We have 2 Yeti microphones, and we will be using a Canon 5D Mark IV camera for the video. I'm using my MacBook Pro for the interface. My first question is that I need to use one USB port for the video and the other for audio. So I saw your video on using more than one mic using USB, but did you use a USB hub and then go into the computer through one USB port? When you do this, does the audio MIDI setup recognize each mic separately, or is there another way to do this? Second question, since I'm using the Canon camera for video, do you have any suggestions there? Thanks so much, Bob." Bob, thank you very much for the email. I unfortunately do not have multiple of the same microphones, so I'm unable to test if that actually works. I have heard from some people that when you have 2 microphones that are the same USB models, that they don't show up separately in your audio MIDI setup, regardless of how many ports you're running them into. I have heard that, and unfortunately, I don't have 2 of the same microphones, so I am unable to test it. So I want to pass this off to anybody watching or listening who does have 2 of the same USB microphones and a Mac computer. If you connect them to your Mac, both of the same microphones, do both of them get recognized in your audio MIDI setup? And can you record them separately by creating an aggregate device? I wish I could help and test that out right now, but I unfortunately am not able to. As far as the video, Unless you're doing a live podcast, I would recommend just recording to your camera's SD card and then importing that and syncing the audio and the video in post. That would free up both of your USB ports, and it would put a lot less wear and tear on your computer, and you wouldn't have to buy an HDMI capture card, which is what you would need to capture the video from your Canon 5D Mark IV. And lastly, I don't even know if the 5D Mark IV offers clean HDMI out, meaning when you are capturing the video from that, I don't know if it has all the overlays on that video. Not sure. I would recommend capturing to the SD card and syncing in post. If anybody gets back to me regarding two of the same USB microphones, I will include that response in a future Ask Bandrew segment to let you know. Thank you very much for the email, Bob. Best of luck to you. Second email comes from, I am not going to say their name. They say, hello, my name is, not going to say it. I am from South Africa and I am trying to build a home studio, but the problem is money. When you do a microphone review, can you please send me the microphone? Person. Sorry, I don't give away microphones, and I will address why again. I have done this 1,000 times. I have it on my FAQ page, but I will answer and respond to this so anybody watching and listening can understand my mindset. The way that my channel functions is I buy almost all of the gear that I review, and the reason that I do that is it means that I am able to keep the gear. Then I can run tests in the future. I can do comparisons in the future. I can do anything that I want with those microphones in the future. If I started giving away the microphones, then when I need to do a comparison or somebody asks a question and I need to try two pieces of gear together, I would have to buy both of those pieces of gear or both of those or 10 of those microphones that I am comparing in order to complete that video. Additionally, if I started giving away microphones, I would either have to set a rule where I give everybody who asks for a microphone, or ask for justification on why they're asking for a microphone, and then develop some kind of ranking system with criteria on who is the most justified for this microphone, which just seems like a headache to me. I don't want to be the arbiter of validity of somebody's goals, saying, you know what? That podcast that you were asking for this microphone for seems stupid. I'm not going to give it to you, but this person over here, I like their idea better, so I am going to give them a microphone. I don't want to be that person who determines whose goals and whose ideas and whose projects are valid. That seems like a nightmarish world where I am the arbiter of that. I am the gatekeeper. I don't want to be that person. And lastly, I don't want to turn into a YouTube channel that just loses money every single month, which would ultimately lead to me having to quit doing YouTube. I started making YouTube videos because I like making YouTube videos. I focused on audio gear because I like playing with audio gear. If I just start giving it all away, that means that my costs are going to increase if I ever want to make a second video. And that means that I would not be able to afford to continue to do this. I work 40 plus hours a week at a day job. I work dozens of hours every single week on other projects outside of my day job. I do that so I can continue to play with this audio gear. I know this is going to make me sound like an absolute dickhead, and I am fine with that, but I don't put in dozens of hours outside of my day job or work my day job to pay for somebody else's gear acquisition. That's not why I am doing this. I do it to help people, absolutely, but I do it because I also enjoy it. I am simply not in the business of working 60 plus hours a week to give that money away. That's not to say that I don't believe in charity, because I do, and I still give to charity, but I am not going to start buying stuff for people just because they ask. And that seems like a nightmarish world where I am the determining factor on whose ideas are valid. I went a little bit hard. I am sorry if I came across like a complete but I have very strong feelings about that. I think that if you earn something, if you work towards something, if you save up for it, you are going to appreciate it and enjoy it 100 times more. The gear that I saved up for and worked really hard to acquire always brought me so much more joy when I got to use it, because it wasn't just a gift. It didn't just show up at my doorstep. It's something that I saved up for and worked for months and sometimes years. And the longer and harder that I had to save up and work for it, the more I enjoy it. Like the SM7B, This is something I saved up for months, and I love this microphone so much. I have thought about it. If there was a fire, this microphone would be one of the first things that I grab because this was the culmination of so much work, and it was the start of the Podcastage YouTube channel. Buying this microphone and the search for this microphone led me to the point that I started the Podcastage YouTube channel. Now I'm just ranting. I am sorry, random person. I am not going to say your name. I am sorry I came across like a dick, but no, I will not give you a microphone. Long story longer. Next email comes from Doug. He says, have you reviewed portable digital recorders? Looking for options to record songs for my family. Thanks. Douglas, thank you very much for the email. I have not done too many reviews of portable recorders. I have used the Zoom H1, H2N, and H6, and all of those have stereo microphones built in or detachable stereo microphone capsules that come with it. And I think all of those would work really well. I guess it really depends on what you're trying to record. If you're just trying to record everybody in a room singing, absolutely any of these would work fine. If you're just trying to record yourself singing and playing the acoustic, any of these would work really well. I believe the H2N, or maybe they've upgraded to the H2N Pro, would probably be your best bet as long as you're not trying to record a bunch of XLR microphones into your computer, because it does have multiple microphone capsules and you can adjust from cardioid to wide stereo to mid-side. It has so many different options built in, and I think that would probably be very useful for you. But with the very limited information that you provided, I am just assuming what you're trying to record, and that would just be everybody in a room singing together, or you playing the acoustic and singing at the same time to share that with your family. So probably the H2N, if I am correct in my assumptions. Next email comes from Peter. He says, hi, Bandrew. I want to shoot some videos on LinkedIn and Facebook, and I have a problem with a microphone. I refer to a video you posted on YouTube about a microphone, the Boya BYM1. I bought the same one, but it doesn't work. The problem was in a connector from 3.5mm TRS to my iPhone 7 over Lightning. So I bought a new connector which uses Bluetooth to transfer microphones either, but it just makes the sound very bad. Is there any good connector between TRRS and Lightning you would suggest? Or do I have to buy the BYDM1, which has Lightning in itself already? Peter, thank you very much for the email. I went and pulled out my iPhone 10, which has a Lightning adapter. It doesn't have a Lightning adapter, it has a Lightning port. Then I pulled out the Apple official Lightning to 3.5mm TRRS adapter. This costs $10, I think, and I filmed a short clip for you, so here is that clip. Okay, right now I'm about 2.5 feet away from the iPhone, and I am just using the iPhone 10's internal microphone, and this is how it's sounding. But now I am going to connect the Boya BYM1 to my iPhone 10 using the official Apple Lightning to headphone adapter, because this does accept TRRS plugs, which is what the majority of headsets are nowadays, and we'll see how it sounds there. And now I have the BYM1 connected to my phone using that adapter, and I'm recording this directly in the standard or the stock Apple camera app. One issue with this setup is the Apple camera app doesn't allow you to adjust your external microphone's gain, and the BYM1 also does not have any gain adjustment on the controller, so you will have to control your level by either adjusting how loud you're speaking or with microphone placements. So if you find that you're getting too hot of a signal and you don't want to adjust how loud you're talking, you'll have to go ahead and move it further down your shirt to adjust your level, and that will introduce a little bit more of the ambient noise going on around you, the reverb, the background noise, all of that. But this is how it sounds recording directly into the Apple camera app with no gain adjustments or anything, just using the Apple Lightning to 3.5mm headphone adapter. There you go, Peter. I hope that helps you in determining what is the best solution for you. If you're just looking for a TRRS adapter, the official Apple Lightning one has worked perfectly fine for me, and it is relatively cheap. And the last thing we have is a voice submission, so go ahead and take it away, Santiago. if I remembered correctly. Santiago, I think.
How about obtaining an Avalon preamp? With all the microphones you have, it will be interesting to see how a preamp of that caliber can improve or color different microphone references. Salutations from Colombia. ¿Qué onda?
Well, que onda, right back at ya. Was that American enough sounding for you? Thank you so much for the question, Santiago, all the way from Colombia. Absolute legend. As far as buying an Avalon preamp, that's a bit out of my budget at this point. Now, as far as the idea, I love the idea. That's something that I have wanted to do, and I want to do big shootouts between a bunch of preamps. Right now, I have relatively low-end preamps in the grand scheme of things. I have the Neve 5073, I think it is. I have the Warm Audio WA73 EQ, which is actually what I am using right now, and I am really, really liking it. It's actually a lot quieter than the Aero's internal preamps, which I am very keen on. So as far as the idea, I love it. As far as if I will buy the Avalon, not 100% sure. If I was spending $2,500 on a preamp, I would probably go with an actual 1073, whether it be an actual Neve or whether it be a BAE. Those are something that I've had my eyes on for a while. Maybe I'd even go with the UA610B, which is only $1,000, which again, in the grand scheme of studio preamps is somewhat cheap, or $1,800 if I wanted the 610B, and I don't know what compressor it's modeling. Not modeling, but what compressor it is. Oh man, now I just want to buy a bunch of preamps. Dang you! Dang you, Santiago. How dare you? But thank you very much for the voice submission. I appreciate you so much. Que onda? That is it for the Ask Bandrew segment, and now we have movies of the week. First movie of the week. Why did I do that? Threads. This is a British made-for-TV movie from 1984 focused on a nuclear apocalypse and the chaos that ensues following the fall of society and humanity. It is brutal. The thing that really worked about this film for me is the pacing. A lot of movies nowadays will just start going 100 miles an hour. The opening scene will be the explosion of the bombs. That is not what happens here. The way that I think I can best describe this is more as the beginning of a roller coaster. You know exactly what happens when you get to the top of that first hill, but with every clickety-clack, get a little bit higher. And as you get a little bit higher, as time goes on, the tension grows. And then eventually it actually happens and all hell breaks loose. And oh boy, it is rough to watch, but it is a fascinating exploration of what would happen to society and what would happen to individual people in a nuclear apocalypse. It's very difficult to watch. Not because it's bad, it's actually very good. The acting is great. It's all well done. It does look like a TV movie at times, but it's difficult to watch because it seems so realistic. The tagline on the DVD is, "The closest you ever want to come to nuclear war is Threads." That's accurate. I don't think I'd ever want to be closer to nuclear war than watching this movie, although I do plan on watching the day after as soon as I finish recording, editing, and uploading this. The second movie is Super. This is a film from, James Gunn, and it is from 2010 or 2011. This is a satirical superhero film, and I honestly think all other superhero films are inferior to this. This is the pinnacle, and nobody else should try. Everybody should just stop making superhero films because this is the best it will ever get. The story is about a guy whose wife leaves him because she's a drug addict, and he loses his mind and becomes a superhero. And hilarity, satire, brutality all ensues. It is such a blast to watch, and Rainn Wilson, Ellen Page, Liv Tyler, Kevin Bacon, everybody is so damn good. I think this is a perfect middle ground from James Gunn's stint at Troma and Slither and the Guardians of the Galaxy. Kind of funny how that works where he's doing brutal, disgusting, really funny films, and then he does a superhero film of that ilk, and then he does the superhero film, one of the best ones out there, Guardians of the Galaxy. But I think Super is the best superhero film. If you're up for something kind of depressing, satirical, dark comedy, all around incredible. And the last thing I want to talk about is why I missed last week. I was working on a very big project. I have 25 plus hours sunk into this video. Unfortunately, it got delayed a little bit, so it's not going to be coming out for a little bit longer. But my God, it's going to be a lot of fun, and it will be the longest review I have ever done. I almost didn't make a video or make a podcast this week either because I am working on another really big project. It is not a video project, but it is adjacent to videos, to reviews, to all of that stuff. And I almost didn't make an episode this week, but I figured I missed you guys. I had to make an episode to talk to you guys. I had to scream at somebody. I can't scream at people at work, so I can scream at you guys. Thank you so much for listening to me scream and lose my mind. All right. I appreciate each and every one of you. GeeksRising.com if you want other episodes. Sunshine Summit, Thursday, August 15th, 10 p.m. EDT. Check it out, sunshinesummit.live. Send in questions, send in email, send in voice, send in video. I will talk to y'all next week. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Bye. That's the podcast's outro. See ya.
This has been a Geeks Rising production. Your executive producer of Bandrew Scott. For more information, head over to www.geeksrising.com.